तो अब डॉक्टर शहजाद ने तो बताया आपको कि कितना आसान है ह्यूविट्स को यूज करना. तो दिस इज ब्यूटी अबाउट all Huvitz technologies. They are user friendly. The machine I am going to talk about is also similar resemblance with Huvitz OCT, with Huvitz Autoref. Same joystick, same patient putting his chin rest in front, and the surgeon sitting on the opposite side, and it has a built-in computer with a screen, and a single shot in less than a minute gives you corneal topography, OCLI based, OLCI based biometry, optical low coherence interferometry is the mechanism behind it. It gives you Placido-based topography. It gives you cornea-based wavefront analysis. It gives you Wernicke polynomials. It gives you pupillometry. It measures angle alpha and gamma for you. And it ultimately, after processing with AI, it can give you topography printout, it rules out keratoconus, and it recommends you whether premium IOL is contraindicated in this patient or not. So this all 5-in-1 or numberless parameters are captured and analyzed for you, and it has the latest formulas like Barrett, Olson, and toric calculator inside it. You don't need to feed the reading to an online calculator. So it is precise, it's accurate, and as usual, it combines economy with quality. It uses the principle of optical low coherence interferometry, and the measurements are comparable to industry gold standards like swept source based OCTs, IOLmaster 700, and like recent innovation by Hugstite, iStar. The measurements are repeatable, and I will show you the comparison in my presentation. And I am so excited and absorbed during preparation of Lahore Ophthalmo 25. I had this machine for about maybe 6 months or so. But once I started really studying it, I had about 26 contributions to Lahore Ophthalmo, directly, indirectly, through my residents. And all 25 contributions time I gave to prepare this presentation equals to that. And that was kind of excitement it showed, and the potential came up to me once I started comparing and studying it. And I especially went to an office to study iStar and take the printouts from iStar by Hugstite, which is considered to be the best machine right now for combined biometry and topography. So it has toric planning, it can screen, and it can give you act as a very good screening tool for cornea as well. It has a pupillometry module, and it has a Wernicke analysis for higher order aberrations, and it tells you, it flags you red and yellow for premium IOL practice. And we all know that the pupil is very important. Many times the emetropia has been met, the patient is 6'6" but is unhappy. What is missing in few cases we noticed that the center of the multifocal or trifocal IOL or an ADOF IOL was not matching with the pupil. That is one thing. And second, if we have not given due attention to photopic and mesopic size of the pupil and the measurement of the dynamic pupillary reaction, then we may meet a surprise in terms of if the mesopic pupil size is more than 5 millimeters, the dysphotopsia will be great. All the rings will be contributing to the dysphotopsia. And if the pupil size is less than 1 millimeter, then the patient may lose all the benefits of ADOF and trifocality. So these are relative contraindications for premium IOL implantations, which you can only gauge from accurate pupillometry. And this is closely related to normal pupil sizes 3 to 4.5 millimeters, more than 5 millimeter mesopic size question mark, more than 6 millimeter mesopic size is a contraindication for trifocal implantation. It gives you angle kappa and angle alpha, and it again flags it red, yellow, and green so that you are able to easily pick up that which eye is not suitable for a premium intraocular lens implantation. Less than 0.3 millimeter is green, 0.3 to 0.5 millimeter is yellow, more than 0.5 millimeter is red, more than 0.5 millimeter, no premium IOL. Monofocal IOL is the answer. So the pupil size will help you keep your patient comfortable during winter, during dim light days, and in summer bright mornings. Same, the size of the pupil and its importance, and the angles measured by HBM-1. So the beauty with this, as Dr. Shehzad mentioned, 5-in-1 for the OCT, this machine is a very capable machine. It has contact lens prescribing software as well. Because it has a Placido-based corneal topography, which is coupled with OCD-based thickness measurements, it doesn't measure the posterior surface directly. It couples OCT and Placido-based anterior surface analysis to rule out keratoconus. But using same measurements, it displays on the screen the contact lens advice and the fluorescent test with the available contact lens models which are already in the machine, and you can feed new contact lenses like intraocular lenses. You feed their constants and get the printout. And it has orthokeratology software. Orthokeratology is a recent upcoming optometric practice in which you advise night wearing contact lenses to decrease or to cut down the progression of the myopia. And you also use low dose atropine eye drops known as penalization to decrease the progression of myopia. And you can do that with this HBM biometer. It has a myopic progression analysis software built in it. It will give you a curve and will let you know whether your treatment is working or not. And you can show that printout or screen to the parents for reassurance that your practice and your advice is really working for their particular child. And it has a cornea-based Zernike analysis. And you see, if you combine all these capabilities in one machine, that is iStar by Hochstein, the cost is about 10 times more than this HBM biometer. So this is a virtual fitting suit for contact lenses. It gives you real time simulation, measuring the base curve of the cornea and using the topographic parameters and giving you practical on-screen advice whether which contact lens will be ideal for that particular patient. And there is a myopia control management software coupled with orthokeratology practice, which plots on your screen this kind of graph year-wise and tells you, for example, if you are performing a research on low dose atropine, or you are performing a research whether orthokeratology works or not. So this is an ideal tool in your hands which can give you real time mapped data over the years. So axial length monitoring is mandatory for the myopic progression. And these are the Placido rings, which it uses to measure anterior corneal surface. And this is how the Wernicke analysis works. Again, traffic light signals, green light less than 0.3, yellow light 0.3 to 0.5, and red light more than 0.5. And it has an interesting function in which it measures the cornea-based wavefront and then tells you that how is the optical system of the eye. You see, here is E, which ideally a patient should see. And the second E shows what that patient is seeing. It projects the chart on the fovea and gets that image and shows you on the screen. And it also tells you about the PSF, point spread function, to rule out comma aberration. If there is high comma aberration, toric lenses are contraindicated. And it will tell you that there is high comma in this patient, don't go for toric IOL. It will create a mess. Sharp dot, starburst, all these aberrations are, higher order aberrations are ruled out. And I mentioned you about toric IOL. This is how the calculator shows on the screen, and I have compared it with all online toric calculators. There was not a difference of even few degrees. It is accurate, 99% accurate toric planning, which it offers you on screen and in printouts. So in premium IOL workflow, higher order aberrations are very important. And remember the figure of 0.5 millimeter, more than 0.5 red signal. So it's a complete diagnostic hub which helps you, gives you a surgical confidence. It helps you grow your practice, and it helps you to educate your patients. So we have compared it with the industry. The mechanism in Huvitz technology is OLCI, Optical Low Coherence Interferometry. The IOL Master 700 and Orgos are swept source based OCT technology they use, and Aladdin by Topcon is the closest competitor with Huvitz, which also use OLCI technology. Topography, Aladdin uses by Topcon Placido, and Huvitz also use Placido, but IOL Master 700 and Orgos by Alcon have only keratometry. They don't have this capability of topography. The iStar I mentioned gives you real anterior and posterior corneal topography like Pentacam, but it's a very premium and high cost machine. The optical biometry landscape, it uses a technology which IOL Master 500 had and which Aladdin has, which is optical low coherence interferometry. And it has another beauty that using OLCI, it has a patent dense cataract mode with the name of DCM, which is AI-based filter, which filters out the blurred and distorted wavefronts and uses only those wavefronts which really go and strike the fovea and the retina. And by filtering out those not penetrating wavelengths, it gives you quite accurately measured axial length with the name of DCM, and you don't need to press any button. If the regular biometry fails, the machine automatically switches to dense cataract mode, and it gives you biometry of about 95% of the cataracts. And the other competitors, like which are swept source based, like Orgos, IOLMaster 700, and iStar, they are not 100%. They claim about 97 to 98%. So now the question is for you, whether to add 2% more dense cataracts. How much are you ready to spend? 5 to 10 times? This depends upon your practice and the kind of institution you are working with. This is a common man's general practitioner's tool, which is as good as industry premiums, but comes at a low cost. So all these features make it very economical and accurate choice. SD-OCT advantages include high penetration, but it compensates by having dense cataract mode. And this is another comparison which we have already discussed. And this is the interesting comparison with iStar. This is real data from myself and my assistant's eyes. We measured both. We took all the measurements from Hogstite iStar and Huvitz HBM-1. You see, there is almost no difference in axial length measurement. Similarly, the K readings also match. There is very little difference in astigmatic measurement, and the measurement of the corneal thickness is almost in line with difference of only few micrometers. And ultimately, putting that was right eye, this is left eye, and left eye is also in agreement. And this is how it looks on the graph, that it consistently measures the axial length with the same accuracy which swept source based iStar does. So this is how it measures the pupils. These are the pupil measurements by iStar 900, and these are the pupil measurements by Huvitz, because pupil is a dynamic thing. And the beauty of this machine is it has a kind of bowl, and there is a bright flashlight which automatically lights up and makes the photopic measurement. Then it turns off the lights and makes a mesopic measurement. So the room light doesn't matter much while using HBM biometer for pupil measurements. And it also gives you angle kappa and the centration offset. And it was found to be consistent with iStar, which is considered to be gold standard. So real quality life, it gives you the higher order abrasions. And in higher order abrasion, there are a lot of colorful circles are there, which are difficult to understand. What you need to memorize is root mean square value, which is known as RMS value, which is written at the bottom of the Zernike analysis. So this analysis is by both machines of this particular patient, which we have measured. This is how HBM-1 and iStar finally recommends measuring the higher order abrasions. And it's as competitive, though the iStar uses different parameters, and HBM uses KPI and surface asymmetry index to measure corneal aberrations. So if there is zero spherical aberration was in this case, so generally there is some positive spherical aberration which is cancelled by cornea. But HBM measured that this particular patient, has zero spherical aberration. So in this particular patient, which was measured by both the machines, HBM suggested that it's better to avoid the negative spherical aberration lenses, which have minus 0.27, will add to the refractive error of this patient. This patient needs aberration neutral lens, which are very few. Most of the lenses in the market are with negative spherical aberration to cancel corneal positive spherical aberration. But this particular patient measured by HBM and I star was aberration neutral. So aberration neutral lens is recommended by the AI software built in the machines. So the verdict, the Huvitz HBM-1 demonstrates exceptional agreement with Hogstite I star 900. So this is how the printouts look, and there are maybe tens or 20s of the parameters which both the machines measure and use for the final calculation. This is another patient which we measured with both machines, and this is also in agreement except at a few points, but ultimately the IOL power calculated was almost similar in both the machines. It gives you angle kappa, angle alpha, and makes your life easy and makes it very ideal choice for a busy practice. And this all is done by single click. One click for right eye and one click for left eye. And about 20-30 seconds for right eye and 20-30 seconds for left eye. In comparison, I star needs only one click for both eyes. It shifts by auto to other eye. That's the difference. It has two clicks and I star has one click. And if you are ready to spend 45 million for one additional click, it's your choice. But I choose HBM-1 because this has really revolutionized and consolidated my premium IOL practice. So HBM by Huvitz is not just a machine, it's a philosophy. It is the realization that precision need not be complicated, accuracy need not be fragmented, and excellence need not be expensive. The true fusion of modern biometry by HBM-1. Thank you very much. मैं भी हैरत हूं कि दुनिया क्या से क्या हो जाएगी. कोई सवाल हो तो जवाब दिया जाए. As I mentioned, it is a Placido-based topography, like Nidec, and like many other Placido-based topographers, like OBSCAN. It is not Schemflug or swept source-based topography. So it doesn't measure the posterior corneal surface directly. It only measures anterior corneal surface in detail and couples it with OCT-based corneal thickness measurements, and then gives you a scanning report of surface asymmetry index, and the report resembles more to Nidec OPD scan and to OB scan and other Placido-based scans. The swept source biometer IOL Master 700 and Argos are very capable machines, but they measure only keratometric values. They don't scan the cornea for topography. Whereas iStar is the ultimate machine which measures both corneal surfaces with swept source OCT and gives you a pentacam-like report. It doesn't give you a pentacam report, but it's an excellent screening device for keratoconus and wavefront corneal analysis for a busy practice. What we do is that we scan the patients with Huvitz, and then the refractive surgery centers, they offer free pentacam and Galilei scanning with the laser machine package. So we scan it with Huvitz, and then on the day of laser, we rescan it with pentacam and Galilei. And in last 6 months, there was not a single report by Huvitz which was denied by pentacam or which pentacam was able to detect. But there must be few in coming days which will Huvitz may miss because it doesn't scan the posterior corneal surface. But as a screening tool, excellent printout, and it tells you in black and white, no keratoconus detected. It uses OCT thickness measurements and anterior surface topography, Placido based. Yes, it gives. So when I started using this machine and exploring this machine, my heart was kind of filled with excitement and joy, and I wanted to share it. And thank you, Jasani Scientific, for arranging this session, and we are able to share our thoughts. I was kind of overfilled with joy once I had those two measurements from iStar, and hardly there was any difference. And about in last 6 months, about 50 IULs we have implanted, and we have not a single biometric surprise. And it has not refused us yet for hard cataract. But it is not penetrating that much. There is a difference of 2-3% between Orgos, IOL Master, and iStar. No machine is 100%. By the way, if you want to have one machine and take 100% of your measurements with the single click, with auto-rife manner, Jasani Scientific has the answer. If you are sitting in periphery and practicing with hypermature cataracts, then better to go for Nordic biometer, because if it fails, automatically a scan probe will come through the same nozzle of the biometer, and it will quietly take the measurements, and the whole AI based biometer will be switched automatically to a scan to ultrasound based biometry, and you will have the biometer based printout in which all the A constants are automatically shifted to ultrasonic biometry. So if you want that to do 100% cataracts, probably NIDIC is the answer, because there is no single machine. Though everyone writes approximately 100% patients, it's not 100%. No machine is 100%. In absolutely dense cataracts, this OCT, because it's a light, it's a laser, it cannot penetrate. The HBM uses a very intelligent AI-based software which scans the cataract, then aligns its kind of laser beam and makes it pass through the window which it finds, and then it corrects it with AI and gives you the result of dense cataract. So then in dense cataract, research is on, but I don't think the word optical, I feel, will not be able to meet this need of doing 100% of cataracts.
We have time for one or two questions before the plate is ready. It could be at the back of the wall. Any other question?
और डॉक्टर शहजाद सईद के पास इत्तेफाक से नाइडेक का बायोमीटर है. आप अपना जरा नाइडेक का एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करें.
जैसे मैंने इन ओसीटी के बारे में बताया था, जब मैंने आईओएल मास्टर लेना था तो फिर मैंने यही लाहौर की कॉन्फ्रेंस पे ही मैंने 3-4 देखे एंड आई फाइनलाइज्ड वन, बट उससे जो अगला मैंने देखा दैट वाज नाइटेक। ये नाइटेक पे मैं व्हाई आई फाइनलाइज नाइटेक, जो मैंने अलाइनमेंट की बात की थी, नाइटेक पे जब आप करते हैं पेशेंट मशीन एंड द ऑपरेटर आर इन वन लाइन, होना एक क्लिक से ही है, और उसमें जो टाइम लगता है वो हार्डली चंद सेकंड ही होते हैं जिसमें वो कंप्लीट बायोमेट्री कर लेते हैं। जो दूसरा था उसमें अगेन आपको राइट पे
सामने से मेरा
पैरामीटर्स देखते हैं और पेशेंट आपका सामने की तरफ है, तो वो उस ऑपरेटर के लिए जिसने बायोमेट्री करनी है वो डिफिकल्ट था। अभी तक मुझे कोई ह्यूज किस्म का कोई डिजास्टर नहीं आया इन आईयूएल मेजरमेंट। जो सर ने बात की उसका एडेड एडवांटेज ये है कि अगर एक्सियल लेंस नहीं आ रही, उसी में ही मैनुअल प्रोब उसी मशीन के साथ ही लगा हुआ है, आप वहीं पे पेशेंट को भी नहीं उठाना पड़ता, आप वहीं पे उसकी मैनुअल मेजरमेंट भी कर रहे हैं।
जी जी, असल सवाल तो अब आएगा।
शुक्रिया। ये जो आपने फरमाया कि पिछले 6 माह में कोई रिफ्रैक्टिव से ड्राइव नहीं होगा, तो आप डिफरेंट आईज के लिए डिफरेंट फार्मूलाज पे जाते हैं।
यस,
तो वो मतलब थोड़ा सा वो बता रहे हैं कि मतलब शॉर्ट आईज में आप कौन सा फार्मूला यूज कर रहे हैं और लॉन्ग आईज में कौन सा फार्मूला यूज कर रहे हैं।
इसका सारा काम बताओ।
इसका मेरे क्वेश्चन का बी पार्ट है, और वो ये कि लेंस में आपने कहा ये रीडिंग लेता है, तो वाइट कैटरैक्ट्स को भी आप उसमें इंक्लूड करते हैं लेंस में, या सिर्फ इससे मुराद
95% लेता है वो 5 की होने।
ये एनएस, इससे मुराद एनएस है, वाइट कैटरैक्ट्स
नहीं बात, क्योंकि वाइट पे तो बिल्कुल फेक है, इट विल नॉट फैंसी है।
तो फॉर्मूलाज का प्लीज बता दें।
फार्मूला जो है ना, वो कल हम बैठे हुए थे शॉर्ट एक्सियल लेंथ के सेशन में, तो डॉक्टर सादिया ने वो स्लाइड शो की थी कि विच फार्मूला फॉर विच आई। तो मैंने उनसे बाद में कहा कि डॉक्टर सादिया बड़ा आसान है, केन तीनों में है। केन शॉर्ट आई के लिए भी ठीक है, एवरेज आई के लिए भी ठीक है, और लॉन्ग आई के लिए भी ठीक है, केन फॉर्मूला। और इसमें ब्यूटी है जिसको शायद मैंने ज्यादा स्ट्रेस नहीं दिया, इसमें बेल्ट एंड बैरेट भी ले सकते हैं आप एज एन एड ऑन। तो बैरेट इज आल्सो लेटेस्ट फॉर्मूला, और वो टेबल जो है वो मैं आपको शेयर कर दूंगा, वो मुझे याद नहीं रहते। मैंने वो टेबल प्रिंट करके तो बायोमेट्री रूम में लगाया हुआ है। मैं आपको मिसाल देता हूँ, एक रिफ्रैक्टिव सर्जरी का पेशेंट था इन्हीं 6 माह में, उसकी जब उन्होंने रेगुलर रूटीन की बायोमेट्री की तो उसकी पावर +19 आई, और जब हमने उसको बैरेट में कैलकुलेट किया तो इसमें इट वाज 22। तो अब सवाल पैदा हो गया आप क्या करें, तो वी वेंट टू ESCRS कैलकुलेटर। ESCRS कैलकुलेटर बड़ा आपका हरमी किस्म का आंसर है। उस पे जब हमने कैलकुलेट किया तो वो भी 22 है। तो फिर हमने HP1 की बैरेट की और उसकी कैलकुलेशन को अडॉप्ट किया, और बजाय 19 के 22 नंबर का लेंस प्लान किया। लेकिन इसमें अब एक और चीज जरूरी है, when we had a sitting with the patient, we explained that we are taking all the measurements, we have calculated it with the latest online calculator as well, but there is a chance of refractive surprise still. But luckily we had only 4.50 postcard.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है, इन योर प्रैक्टिस अगर पेशेंट हैज ऑप्टेड फॉर मल्टीफोकल और रीडॉप और उसकी ऑप्टिकल बायोमीटर पे रीडिंग नहीं आ रही और आपने मैनुअल लेनी है, वुड यू स्टिल गो फॉर द मल्टीफोकल?
यस, बहुत अच्छा। हम आपका हॉस्पिटल में मेंटोर के, वो क्या नाम था उसका जो बड़ा मशहूर बायोमीटर था टच स्क्रीन वाला, स्टोर्स वो एम से शुरू होता है, मेंटोस इस तरह का नाम है, उस पर हम करते रहे। तो ये जो हमारे सर्वर हैं, हमारे डायग्नोस्टिक के उस्ताद साथीज, वो अभी भी इमर्शन बायोमेट्री करते हैं, एंड ही बिलीव्स it doesn't need optical biometer for premium mile practice. So if properly done and without pressing the cornea and taking the proper standardizing your machines, the ultrasonic biometry has confidence. Only it has other variables. Actually, optical biometer का axial length में ultrasonic से उतना disagreement या फर्क नहीं है जितना हम लेंस थिकनेस मशीन ले रही है, वाइट टू वाइट कंसिडर कर रही है, कॉर्नियल थिकनेस ले रही है, एसी डेप्थ ले रही है। और ब्यूटी ये है HBM1 में या आई स्टार में कि जब आप कोई बायोमेट्री लेके उसको ESCRS कैलकुलेटर या केन में डालते हैं तो जहां मैनुअल ह्यूमन एंट्री आएगी वहां पे चांस है एरर का। एक दफा टोरेक IOL आ गया तो मुझे जो रेजिडेंट ने वो दिखाया, मैं हमेशा उनको कहता हूँ कि जब बिल्कुल पेशेंट रेडी हो जाता है कहता हूँ कि गिव मी अ ब्रीफिंग, तो माय रेजिडेंट स्टार्ट्स टॉकिंग, इट टेक्स अबाउट अ मिनट, जिसमें वो कैटरेक्ट की टाइप बताता है, उसका डायबिटीज होना या हाइपरटेंशन बताता है, फिर K1 K2 के एक्सेस बताता है, फिर बताता है एस्टिग्मेटिज्म कितना है, किस एक्सेस पे है और एक्सियल लेंथ कितनी है, ताकि मैं प्लान कर सकूं। देखिए शॉर्ट एक्सियल लेंथ वाली आई जो 20 के करीब है उसकी प्लानिंग और है, जो 27 मिलीमीटर की आंख है उसकी प्लानिंग और है, उसके पैरामीटर्स और रखेंगे आप। जब उसने वो ब्रीफिंग दी कि मैंने कहा कि ये तो आप जो मुझे टोरेक प्रिंट आउट दिखा रही हैं ये तो माइनस एक्सिस पे है, तो ये तो गड़बड़ है, लाओ जरा मुझे दिखाओ। वो देखा ये कि जो मैन्युफैक्चरर था उसको भेजा था, उसने जो स्टीपर एक्सेस है वो गलत एंटर कर दिया, तो लकीली पावर वही थी, हमने सिंपल रीमार्किंग करके केस को कर लिया। सो ये ब्रीफिंग लेना और आपके एज एंड केस को जानना किसी फैंसी मशीन के रखने से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इसलिए कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन, द अल्ट्रासोनिक एक्सियल लेंथ इज नॉट एन इशू, हम उसको बायोमीटर को ही फीड कर देते हैं, वो उसको स्टार करके कैलकुलेशन कर लेता है।
What about the silicon filled eyes?
इसके अंदर आप सिलिकॉन को सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बट अगेन सिटिंग विद द पेशेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इन स्पाइट ऑफ यूजिंग द लेटेस्ट मशीन्स and using silicon oil constants and everything, you cannot hit accurate. और दूसरा ये silicon oil जब निकल जाएगा फिर क्या करेंगे? So that's a different story. आपने ये देखना है कि ये removable silicon oil है या इसमें permanent रहना है। अगर तो silicon oil निकल जाना है और cataract निकालना भी retinal viewing के लिए जरूरी है, तो we will go for other eye parameters. We will use the K readings of this eye और अदर आई बायोमेट्री करेंगे। और इसमें हम एज अ कैटरेक्ट एंड इंटीरियर सेगमेंट सर्जन रेटिनल सर्जन को एडवाइस करेंगे कि किसी भी पेशेंट की प्लानोविट्रेक्टमी करने से पहले डू द बायोमेट्री, ताकि हमारे पास बायोमेट्री का रिकॉर्ड हो। उसने कॉम्प्लिकेट कैटरेक्ट से होना ही नहीं, तो जब उसने कॉम्प्लिकेट होना है और आयल की मौजूदगी में हम एक्यूरेट उसकी लेंथ नहीं दे सकेंगे। So that's a kind of advice. But in all these difficult scenarios, you need to talk to the patient. That's very important. Explain the outcomes. And we have done one RK patient as well recently, who was a wrong eye, and plus 234 was the measurement, and it was 27 millimeter eye. And again we were able to plus minus 1 diopter के आसपास हम पहुंच गए थे। लेकिन जो उन्होंने पॉइंट किया भाई ने फिलहाल कि वो जो मेजरमेंट है वो डिफिकल्ट केसेस में डोंट डिपेंड ऑन द आई, डोंट डिपेंड ऑन ओनली सिंगल मशीन, ऑलवेज हैव मल्टीपल एंगल्स, गो फॉर केन, गो फॉर बैरेट, सी डिफरेंट थिंग्स एंड देन मेक योर डिसीजन and explain to the patient as well. With this, we conclude.
एक और क्वेश्चन पर हम
जी जी
ऑडियंस में सर आपको जो
22 डायफ्रैक्स का मायोपिक 0.5 डायफ्रैक्स।
हाँ जी, एक और सवाल कह रहे हैं कि किया जाए। एक सवाल का सवाल है बाबा। SRKT is good for average eyes, but SRKT ये इसमें ना फर्क है। क्या फर्क है? थर्ड और फोर्थ जनरेशन में जो थर्ड जनरेशन है वो एक्सियल लेंथ तो लेता है, लेकिन फोर्थ जनरेशन एसी डेप्थ, लेंस थिकनेस, उन सारी चीजों को लेता है। यही फर्क है। The more data you put in, the better answer you will get. और the beauty with these devices which I compared and showed you their mechanisms, that they take all the possible measurements. But beauty with HBM-1 is that I was amazed to see that in iStar, it gives you central 3 millimeter OCT scan from corneal apex to foveal pit. It shows you that cone. And if you want to increase that 3 millimeters to limbus, you want to scan and measure the angle as well. How much you need to pay for that? Only 10 million. And double the price of this, almost double. So how can you compare a kind of 4.5 crore और 6 billions और फर्क 1 लाख का फर्क है और 2% डेंस कैटरैक्ट का फर्क है. तो उसके लिए अगर हमारी प्रैक्टिस इतना पे बैक कर सकती है तो devices are there, but for an average practice this is an ideal choice which combines accuracy, economy and it's very user friendly. तो बस शेर सुना देते हैं फिर चाय गर्म होने तक. शम्मा हर रंग में जलती है सहर होने तक, आह को चाहिए एक उम्र असर होने तक. तो शेर सुनते हैं चाय गर्म होने तक. एक सवाल का सवाल है बाबा, करें
सवाल सर. मुझे ये बताएं कि how to select if the are the latest machines and you find the accurate number, and what you decide, you will go for the accurate number or you go for some increased number 0.5 or something.
इस चीज का
IOL number for the putting the IOL number.
Biometry target. We always prefer minus, a little minus, not minus 0.5, but little on minus side or 0.
Okay.
We never aim for plus. In any multifocal or readout, either it will be 0 target or a little minus, less than 0.25.
With these latest machines, you find the accuracy also. So why you go for the some limit?
You have to, because the lenses come with 0.5 steps. The machines measure in 0.12 step. So you have to do a little plus minus in that.
In all IOS, like monofocal, EDOF or the multifocal.
The costly the IOL is, the more steps will be there. For very high powers, the different steps increase. Many companies are now marketing IOLs with 0.25 difference. But you can imagine, in country like ours, to keep an inventory of IOLs with 0.25 difference, it's a hell of a task. So वो matter नहीं करता. The advice is either it is 0 or a little minus, less than 0.25. Or if you are doing some other trick, like you are making one eye fore dominant and one eye rear dominant, so that's a different story. That in one eye you have hit 0 with an EDOF. If you would like कि दूसरी आई जो है वो minus 0.5, 0.75 तक हो जाए, तो पेशेंट की कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ जाएगी नियर रीडिंग की. और फिर ये वाला काम तो वो भी कर रहे हैं. अब 2 कंपनीज हैं, एक क्रिस्टा लेंस का सिम्फनी, वो डिफरेंट एडिशंस के साथ आ रहे हैं, और जो सीसी है उसका मिनिमल भी डिफरेंट एडिशंस के साथ आ रहा है. और मेरा ख्याल है कि ये जो बीवीआई का फाइन बीएन है उसमें भी वो रिकमेंडेशन ये दे रहे हैं कि राइट और लेफ्ट आई में आप थोड़े से डिफरेंट ऐड करके दें तो पेशेंट की इंक्रीज हो जाती है.
Sir, जिस तरह you have mentioned कि बच्चों normally we keep the patient myopic, slightly myopic. तो बच्चों में हम क्या प्रेफर करते हैं? हम उनको थोड़ा सा हाइपरमोपिक छोड़ते हैं या
हम तो HBM-1 के सेशन में पीडियाट्रिक ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजी बनाना है. बच्चों में मैं मुख्तसर बता देता हूँ कि वो जो याद करने पड़ते हैं टेबल, उसकी जरूरत कोई नहीं है. वैसे तो वो एक फार्मूला भी है, वो 8 + 7 / 2 लेकिन मैंने जो प्रैक्टिकली देखा है, फॉर एग्जांपल मैं एक इन्फेंट का कैटरेक्ट करना पड़ गया, तो अब उसकी हमने बायोमेट्री की, तो वो 45 डायोप्टर का लेंस है, तो 45 डायोप्टर का कस्टमाइज लेंस आप मंगवा भी लेंगे, तो वो 17 मिलीमीटर की तो आंख है, 18 की, उसकी एसी डेप्थ कितनी है, तो इतना बल्कि लेंस डालेंगे आप, तो यू आर इनवाइटिंग ट्रबल। व्हाट आई डू इज वेरी सिंपल, जो 30 डायोप्टर का लेंस अवेलेबल है, 30 या 32 का, वो डाल देंगे, बाकी एंड से कंपनसेट करेंगे। और आपको पता है, अब आप बताएं मैक्सिमम ग्रोथ कब होती है, एडवर्स कितनी लेंथ होती है? कोई बात नहीं बेटा, मैम 16-17 होती है, और एक साल पे 22, और 20 साल पे 23। तो इसका मतलब है एक साल से 22 साल तक 1 मिलीमीटर का इजाफा होता है, और बर्थ से एक साल के अंदर कितने मिलीमीटर का इजाफा हो? 5 का। 17 से 22 हुई, तो मैक्सिमम ग्रोथ अकर्स इन 1 ईयर। तो अगर किसी कैटरेक्ट को हम सेफली एम्ब्लियोपिक का लिए बगैर 1 ईयर तक ले जा सके, तो हम ज्यादा उसको बचा लेंगे एनाइसोमेट्रोपिया से। तो माय प्रैक्टिस इज वेरी सिंपल, 1 साल के बाद मैं यूमेट्रोप एम करूंगा, और जितना मायोपिया आएगा इज वेलकम। मैंने किसी -7 वाले बच्चे को एम्ब्लियोपिक नहीं देखा, क्योंकि 1 ईयर पे फोकस्ड है, और +1 वाले को देखा है।
Sir, thank you.
तो आई डोंट वांट हाइपरोपिया।
Thank you for an elaborate presentation. In the end, I will request Mr. Jasani to give vote of thanks. जिसके बाद फिर all are welcome to have the back of the hall.
I would like to thank Colonel Shadad and Professor Mazhry for great help out in this session. I hope that this session was good and informative for all of you. And thank you everyone.